You're watching Network Radio. Live from the Media Broadcasting Center.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Welcome to Wake Up to the Truth Radio with your hosts, Mike Soror and Eric Spitfire Wilkinson. Welcome to the Resistance. Hey everybody, welcome to Wake Up to the Truth on this 13th of January 2015. I'm your host Mike Soror with my partner in crime,
Eric Wilkinson over here. How you doing, Mike?
Doing great, man. Not doing too bad. Going to be a fun show tonight. For everybody who's out there listening that wants to call into the show tonight, the number is, and you might want to grab a pen because you're going to need an access code with it. But the number is 1-866-806-6264. That's 866-806-6264. And tonight's code is going to be 149624, or sorry, 149-625-0662. That's 149-625-0662. How are you doing in your neck of the woods today, Mr. Wilkinson?
I'm doing good, my brother. Trying to keep warm. You know, this global warming's killing us over here in this part of the state. Al Gore says, "Give me your money for those carbon taxes," because they've changed it now. You know, it's not global warming anymore. That's not the correct term anymore. It's climate change. As if climate change doesn't just happen. Period.
Right.
You need money for it.
Didn't we learn about that in like second grade science?
Yeah.
That just shows how aware and smart we are as a society, man. They're like, oh, that's new.
It totally is.
But tonight we're going to be talking about tyranny. We're going to be talking about it on a government level, on a medical level. We're also going to be talking about a little later in the show about what it takes to basically be a leader. And when we say the word leader, we're not talking about Moses leading his people out of Egypt. You know, we are talking about you yourself being a leader of yourself. Honestly, actually, I want to start the show with reading a couple quotes from Thomas Jefferson, if you don't mind. These are probably my favorite quotes of all time. First of all, the definition of tyranny. We could just say government, but we'll give you the real definition, and it's cruel and oppressive government or rule, cruel, unreasonable, or unreasonable use of power or control. Okay, and we have seen this at least in the United States for the past 14 years, and yet still today there are people that are still willing to go at each other's throats about, well, that's because it's the liberals. Oh no, it's the conservatives, it's the Democrats, it's the Republicans. There's two-sided coin, man. And I don't know about you, but I don't see a difference, at least from when I woke up. I just don't see a difference. But here's the quotes, and these are very powerful, man. And I want people to really, really consider this. The first one is, all tyranny needs to gain a foothold is for the people of good conscience to remain silent. That's the first one by Thomas Jefferson. The second one is, when the people fear their government, there is tyranny. When the government fears the people, there is liberty. So those two quotes right there. Now, is it just me, or were our forefathers just a matter? I mean, they couldn't possibly be psychics, were they? I mean, they knew this was coming.
History repeats itself.
It's just it's amazing to me, and let's stick to the whole. Let's play the game tonight. All right, we'll play the Democrat and Republican game. Okay. Like I said, I don't see a difference in either side, really. Basically, if you want to do that, you've got all the people today that are going, all the people are like, oh, it's Obama's fault. We weren't this bad when Bush was in office. And then you've got, the Obama people going, oh, this isn't Obama's fault. This is all Bush's fault, and we're just now feeling it. Ladies and gentlemen, the threshold we're feeling right now has been taking place since Clinton and Bush Sr. Okay, so if you really want to blame the situation as far as the economic crisis, you're both right and you're both wrong. I guess is what I could say. These last two administrations are like a spitting image of each other, are they not?
Oh, absolutely, they are.
It's insane. The
same. What do you say? The same ball of shit with a different smell.
Yeah, that's what I say. Yeah, same bowl of shit, different smell. That's exactly it, man. You've got where do we start? I wish I had a chart and compared the two administrations side by side, because I think people would be quite surprised. Let's see. Bush gave bailouts. I know of another president that did the same thing. Okay, we've got still illegal wars taking place. I don't know. Where do you want to go, Eric? There's so much on both of these administrations, man. Where do you want to go with that?
We're still using our military-industrial complex to bomb and kill millions with impunity. It never stops. Medical industry is still booming, and the naturopathic industry is still being persecuted. Yeah, it's the same things that are going on. And now there's a lot of talk about Obama not getting out of office ever, and that's a distinct possibility. The way he's massacring the Constitution. I mean, I think the difference between Obama and Bush was that Bush didn't openly, overtly obliterate the Constitution. He did it covertly, which is actually worse. But Obama's doing it right in your face, and nobody seems to care. Nobody seems to want to do anything to stop this. Nobody in Congress wants to stop it. Nobody. So it's up to we the people now to stop it by doing this, by spreading awareness. We need to reach that critical mass. And when I say critical mass, the definition of that is to have enough people out there that are aware. They won't be able to get away with this if enough people know that it's going on and fight to stop it.
Absolutely, man. And what more does it take? I mean, I will give Bush a little bit of credit for the simple fact that, as stupid as he was, he did at least try to cover things up.
Right.
And to be honest with you, I mean, yeah, I'm going to say it. Do I believe Bush was really our president? Hell no. I think Dick Cheney ran the show. Do I think Bill Clinton was our president? No way, man. I know Hillary ran the show. Barack Obama, is he running it? Hell no, man. He's got the elitist with their hands up his crack like a puppet, man. We know that. But it's like, what does it take? I mean, 9/11 took place. So we the people decided that the very best thing for us to do would be to be like, okay, let's give up, some of our liberties and just some of our freedoms. That way we'll be safe. We're going to be safe. And if you notice, ever since the Patriot Act went into play, which, by the way, Bush put into office, and Obama went ahead and kept it going, expanded it. It became little freedoms to big freedoms, from little liberties to big liberties. We've got free speech zones. Free speech zones. What the hell is that, man? Are you kidding? and nobody's, like you said, where are the politicians? They can't all be bad. Okay, so where are the ones that the elitists and the Illuminati aren't, that haven't sold their soul to the devil? Okay, Ron Paul, I miss him dearly, but at his age, he's not coming back. Rand, you're an absolute disgrace to your dad. Everything he stood for, you sold your soul quicker than anybody I've seen. I mean, what? It was 2 weeks in office, and all of a sudden he was like, "Yeah, man, now I'm changing things, man." My day threw his own father under the bus.
His dad was defending him today, oddly enough, on Infowars. That he made some mistakes, but I still endorse him. Of course, he's going to say that he's his dad. But you're completely correct about that. Rand made some big poor choices.
Yeah,
that's putting it mildly.
He's chumming around with the wrong buddies, is what's happening.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? And of course, I'm sure they promised him the world, because when you've got it all laying out in front of you, it's easy to take, right, Brock? I mean, you see, the thing is that, a lot of the excuses for our president is, well, at least he's trying. But the point is he promised change. And that change, I honestly thought, was probably going to be real change. He was supposed to stop what is happening now, not expand on it. And that's what he did. Bigger government. It's always bigger government. Pretty soon, man, there might be jobs for us. I'm just kidding. If you're listening, trolls, shills, NSA, I'm not interested in your blood money. I'm not taking the job. I'm just, it's, man, there's a government position like there is a pill for every sickness, dude.
There's a false flag every other day. I mean, Sandy Hook was a huge one, just enormous one. And did you see now that there's a couple of the families they're suing Newtown School board? They're suing the town, saying that they should have had bulletproof windows and other kinds of measures in order to keep out somebody. Like anybody's going to expect a gunman, right? I see Mark going like that. Like anybody's expect a gunman to come in and which he didn't, because it's completely bullshit, but come in and shoot up a school. So now and the only reason they're doing this is because people are looking and going, well, this is the only time in history that the victims haven't come forward and filed any civil suits. It's getting looked at now. So they're like, oh, well, we better do this. Yeah, good luck on that. Yeah. I hope some more of them do it. Because then we can really uncover this.
Oh my God, we forgot about that. They didn't put that in the script. We better file some lawsuits.
Right. Just like this frivolous lawsuit they were trying to bring against the gun maker, Bushmaster.
Yeah.
Rifles. I mean, it's never going to fly. No chance. Bushmaster would probably love for it to happen, because they would destroy him in court, and us truthers would love for it to happen too, because we would have to pull out all these facts and information in court. So it's never going to get there. The paperwork wasn't filed correctly. It was complete BS put out there on the eve of the last day that they had to file a civil suit, just to say they did it. Just to say they got it in there, because people are coming out going, well, why weren't they filed? Why didn't anybody file any of this? This is the first time it's ever happened. So they're being, they're pawns. And these people are greedy scumbags is what they are. And you know what? How dare you other people come on there and say that we're heartless, uncaring people that are mentally disturbed because we don't believe the story. If you look at the facts, if you look at the story, the official story doesn't add up, just like 9/11. Porta potties arrived before trauma helicopters. Give me a break. Mark, you're a former or current police officer, right? You don't want to say? You're going to plead the fifth? What? You had some kind of law enforcement experience, correct?
Well, I'm definitely an ex. I was a military cop back in the day, in the 80s, early 80s, as a kid, and I just happened to see some writing on the wall and got out before these times. So I was in out by 83, so I didn't have all of this, but you saw the writing on the wall as a young whippersnapper. I
You follow certain protocols though as police officers, whether it be in the military or in the regular police force, right?
You got protocols up the butt. You're for us here, we'll call it the Criminal Code of Canada, which covers your one book, and then our protocols covered a 12 by 12 wall, 10 feet high, stacked with books, was our protocols. So, yeah, it's everything out there is that no cop makes a move without it pre-planned, preordained. They know what side their bread is buttered on, and they don't make a move other than that because they lose their protection. They lose the blue shield, and anything you see a cop does, he has an absolute green light to do it.
So the police state is alive and well in Canada as well as the U.S. So back to what I was talking about with Sandy Hook, though. So many of the protocols were ignored when it comes to what happens in a situation like that. I mean, children were left in rooms with dead bodies littered while they went through, right, Mike? You know, they ordered porta potties before they ordered trauma helicopters. Just
they had donuts. There was somebody handing out freaking donuts.
Right. And Wolfgang Halbig, 16 questions are awesome because they asked the 16 questions that make the most sense for why this isn't happening. And they try to label Wolfgang Halbig, who is, by the way, he is, this is what he does for a living. He's well known and very respected in investigating things like this. He's a former sheriff. He's an upstanding guy and an honorable guy. And they're calling him, constantly threatening him, shutting him down. The police are harassing him for trying to investigate this. I sure hope.
In fact, doesn't he have to check in when he gets to that part?
He does.
Doesn't he have to report?
He's got to report
and let him know, hey, I'm here.
Yeah. Yep. So what?
I'm sorry, man. Any moment I'm gonna wake up and realize that this whole entire thing is a bad dream.
It seems like a bad dream, doesn't it?
It's incredible, man. Donuts and porta potties.
Fake actors, parents smiling and laughing before they get on camera. And the funniest thing is, if you go look at the debunking Sandy Hook sites, they're laughable. They have no credence or any type of credit to any of their arguments. They're horrible. No, it's not normal. It's normal for people to lose their emotions when they lose a kid. To laugh and smile. Look at these interviews with some of the victims' parents and family members. They're smiling through the interviews. That's not normal. That's not nervous.
There's a lot of not normal. Okay. Have you ever seen oh my gosh, dude, we could turn this into a 24-hour segment.
Rob, of course we could.
Just on Sandy Hook alone. Just on Sandy Hook alone.
Right. We have military guys and cops.
I think what got me,
they couldn't take out that many people with that much accuracy, but this kid could.
Yeah, with how much gear that weighed like more than he did.
Right.
This kid's firing over 100 rounds in 5 minutes?
That's what they said.
And it's funny that it's such a close-knit community and nobody's ever heard of him.
Nobody's ever heard of these people.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who he is. He lives in our neighborhood, but I mean, we don't know him. Well, does he have any classmates that know him? No, we don't. None of the classmates. We don't know him. We don't know who this kid is. But you know what? Okay, we can be pissed off all we want at the false flag part of it, man. But it's like, how stupid do we have to be? Like that's kind of what I wanted to stick with, a little bit in tonight's show. Is like, At what point do we stop pointing the finger and actually just look in a mirror? Because we're just as guilty. We are just as guilty for doing nothing, for saying nothing, for taking no action, you know?
Arguing on Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook, you know? Man, I don't even know if I was on. I think the only time I was on Facebook all day today was just to promote this show tonight, to be honest with you. But, on a side note, our buddy Rudy Dent, we know he took a fall, ended up in the ER. For those who don't know who Rudy Dent is, he was a firefighter on 9/11, messed up his knee pretty bad. He's in a leg brace, and Wake Up to the Truth is sending prayers and hopes, man. And, Rudy does listen, so hopefully he's listening in tonight. And want you to know that we got you, buddy, and we're rooting for you. But I just
absolutely,
if you heard that little hour interview I had with Rudy over the weekend, that telephone interview, it wasn't a live interview, everybody, so you didn't miss anything live. It was the only time we were available to do it. Rudy and I invite you to listen to that interview too. It's on our page. It's also on our YouTube page. Rudy does talk a lot about what we're talking about tonight, which is, we have to band together. Well, that's becoming an easier said than done thing right now. How do we get truly put our differences aside? It's going to have to be with looking inside of ourselves. I think we're going to have to be, each person's going to have to be willing to drop their sword, drop their shield, and put their arms around each other and go, hey, let's do this. We need to do this together. It doesn't matter what you believe. This is bigger than one event, man. Where we're at right now is a series of events. And I hate to say it, but our parents, my parents anyway, were, they were the hippies that were protesting the Vietnam War and things like that. And we are seeing protests now, but the mainstream media is making the protest out to be more like a riot or a mob fest. And that's not what it is.
Not to mention agent provocateurs that are placed in there to cause problems.
Right.
Just
so I guess
make them look bad.
The first step might be turn the television off.
Yeah, that's a good one.
We have the World Wide Web. Okay. We have technology, at least for now. We have all the information right at our fingertips. Turn off the television and use it. You know what I watch mainstream media for about 3 minutes to get the headlines, because I look at it like the Inquirer. Yeah. And then I go online and I start searching, man. And it's everything I search is not even close to what they were yapping about on television.
Never is.
TV here in America has become God. TV is the new Jesus Christ. It tells us what to eat. It tells us what to wear. It tells us how to raise our kids. It tells us what clothes are cool, what clothes are not cool.
Which medication to buy.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing. I've not seen any commercials on TV of guys like us that are saying, look, it's time for you to turn this television off and stand up for what is right. There's nothing like that. And why is that? Because people are comfortable. They're comfortable in being safe, not knowing. Let's face it, it's comfortable. Here's an example. If somebody knew you were going to die and said to you, Eric, I know exactly when you're going to die and what time. Would you like to know, or would you like to continue not knowing? Well, me, it's kind of a little bit both. But what would you choose in that situation?
Oh, I wouldn't want to know. I'd just continue to live each day like it could be my last, as I always have.
Yeah, but that's how somebody, like, I'm giving the benefit of the doubt. I'm not throwing stones at people. I don't want people that are listening to think that I'm throwing stones at you, okay? Because once upon a time, Eric Wilkinson and Mike Soror were just as asleep as you are, okay? We weren't born. We didn't come out of the womb going, ah! So, I mean, maybe we did, but it wasn't about tyranny anyway. But what I'm saying is though I had to unprogram myself.
You had a spiritual awakening.
Yeah. Well, even then it wasn't a spiritual awakening. It was a joke's on me. Like I said, I was swords out, man. I'm going after these crazies, man. They're crazy. 9/11 was an inside job. How dare they? Watch this. I'm going to prove them wrong. And, didn't work, man. Guess what? I'm on your team.
And then you join the team, and then all of a sudden you realize that people within the team are the enemy too. It's such a deep rabbit hole. Let's talk a little bit about some of the arguments on what truthers believe, because this is not a truther bash, but truthers are really getting a bad name now, because if you don't believe exactly what they tell you to believe, you're beat up and cast out, and that's not how we're going to win this war here. So most truthers, they've done the research. They postulated what they believe was the cause of the Twin Towers, of course. So I want to do a little parable with you. So let's imagine that a car run off the road and it resulted in a fatal accident. Somebody died. And the highway patrols, they show up and they question several witnesses. They're all asked to recount what happened. The first person says, "See those skid marks? I'm a physicist, and this accident happened because the car's momentum exceeded the force of friction." Second bystander shakes his head. "Look at the position of the wheels. The driver suddenly turned and veered off the road into the ditch. I'm an airline pilot, and the accident was caused by veering off course." A third bystander, he detects alcohol fumes from the corpse, and he says, "Well, it's obviously drunk driving." So you have each bystander, each having a different opinion about what happened, but the accident is the same, just like the Twin Towers. There's no real scientific way to solve their differences, because you could approach from different scientific ways. So the answer really depends upon the question you ask. Our perception really defines our reality. Now imagine that a car rushes up after all this, and a woman jumps out and she's freaking out and she's going, Fred, you said you kill yourself, but I never thought you'd go through with it." And her explanation is finally the right one, because she understands the meaning of the accident. It was caused by the driver's warped emotional state, right? So the lesson here is that descriptions never arrive at meaning. Skeptics, which a lot of truthers have become because they're skeptical of anything but what they believe, even the most well-meaning ones, they set up false expectations. They really do. No matter what kind of external data you arrive at, like skid marks, turn wheels, alcohol in the bloodstream, you can't address the meaning of someone's actions or the motive for suicide. MLK, he gave a reasonable guideline for getting past the skepticism. Faith, he said, is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase. So if we're blindly led by others, or the limited information we possess within the scope of 9/11, we will always choose the comfort and safety that is within our scope of knowledge. The truther's biggest mistake is to claim that they, and only they, know the whole truth, declaring anyone else as trolls, trills, misinfo agents, or just dumb, just calling you names. Finding out the truth is a process of discovery, everyone. And someone who scorns the process needs to wake up before he starts telling everybody to wake up themselves. Truthers draw a fence around conventional, materialistic explanations, which they equate with true or good. And outside that fence lies the darkness of the deluded mind. What these people do is crush sincere and genuine, far-seeing thinkers. What these people do to these other people, it's bad. It's really bad sometimes, because it really hurts other people. I compare this to anyone promoting mind-body medicine, being labeled as quacks. Same concept. These people do great harm to the cause they claim to be championing. 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 And that's pretty much my take on that. I would just like to see a little more tact and a little more niceness within the truther community. Stop being so mean to people, especially new people who don't know anything, people coming in and don't have a clue, and stop calling directed energy weapons space beams. This is what, okay, I know Judy Woods said that, and stop equating anyone who thinks direct energy weapons did it with Judy Woods. Okay, there's other people that research direct energy weapons that aren't Judy Woods. Okay, she's not that great of a speaker. We've seen her in interviews. She ain't all that in interviews, but some of her information is solid. But they do this. It's the same as conspiracy theorists and civil protests and civil unrest. It's using these terms to make it sound like we're lunatics. Space beams, and next it's followed by Martians. An alien shot a space beam. No, we're not saying that. And I asked a good question last night, and it really confused some of the truthers, I think, because I said, do you believe the direct energy weapons exist? Do you just believe they exist? Well, yeah, they exist, but they didn't happen on 9/11. I said, okay, so we've come to the conclusion they do exist. But part of the argument that a lot of the hardcore truthers that are against that believe in is that we can't scientifically prove direct energy weapons. Well, if you know they exist, haven't you just scientifically proved it right there? So that was part of it. We know they exist. We know what they're capable of. So why exclude it? Why not let us all have a general discussion about all the different possibilities that could have occurred on that day and go from there? But there's no right or wrong. If there was a right or wrong, or for sure, we would have already gotten an investigate. Well, no, we wouldn't have, but we would be close to the new investigation. Okay. If you're right and all these people are right and all these other people are wrong, why haven't we gotten any closer to an investigation? Doing it your way.
Right. And that's always been my question, man, is it's like, look, if there's a Messiah out there that's all knowing and has the answers as far as 9/11 goes, what are you doing? Why are you wasting your time on Facebook? Why are we not doing something about it?
Right.
I completely agree with you. Man. Man, that whole rant right there that you went off on, I tell you what, it wouldn't be a bad idea to have that in a CD and play it in my car, dude. That was beautiful. Great job, man. You pretty much nailed it. I don't know what to add to that except for the fact that it is true, man. I mean, people are cast out constantly. There's a lot of people that are just starting to wake up. Does anybody remember that day anymore? Or because for me, it was pretty damn scary, man. It was a lot of information. And of course, Facebook wasn't kicking then, so I didn't have like groups or discussions or places to go. But I think we do need to be a little bit more gentle with the new people that are coming in. They're not purposely posting stuff, okay? They're in the mode of they're looking at everything, okay? So after a while, they'll start to tune themselves to know what is purposely being put out there to sway us and what is really the truth. But don't beat a person and hang them and set them on fire because they come across an article that seems pretty convincing when they're brand new. I mean, talk to them, private message them, talk privately. You don't have to call them out and humiliate them. You don't have to bully them. You certainly don't have a right to tell people what to think or what to feel, and what's right and what's wrong. I mean, that's where the leadership part of the show is going to come out. That's why we talk about this. I get told on a daily basis or almost every other day what a great leader I am. And I don't want to be a leader. Who I want to lead is myself. I'm the only person that I want to be in charge of. Okay, so I don't know if it's just a humble thing or not. I never did take compliments well, but when I hear the word leader, I automatically think of names like Hitler, Stalin, Obama, Bush. I think of leaders as being, the word leader doesn't even seem positive anymore. Okay, I don't want to be the guy. We run a unity page on Facebook, Eric. We don't tell people what they can and cannot say. We don't. The only thing that we ask is that they don't do what we're talking about now. Don't come across as being a jerk. Don't bash somebody. Don't bully somebody. Don't beat somebody down. Discuss things. Have an educated discussion. You and I and Chance, we've had discussions where not all three of us agree on the same exact thing. However, we all respect each other's freedom of expression. We all respect each other's opinions, and we talk. We don't call each other morons or idiots or pigs. We don't do that to other people, to each other. So, and it's not just because we're friends, man. I don't do that anywhere. You won't find me anywhere online doing that to anybody. So I guess, man, if you really want to, start doing something constructive and positive, man, then drop your egos, because there's not one person in this world that is single-handedly going to bring justice to anything. Okay, so drop your ego. You're not that great. If you were, then things would be handled differently. I guess. I don't know what else to say on that one, man, but you want to be a real leader, start with being a leader for yourself. Okay, if everybody takes care of themselves, okay, and yes, you can guide people. Guidance and dictatorship are two different things. All right, start being a leader of yourself. Basically, don't try to clean out somebody else's closet when yours is full of skeletons. You know what I'm saying? I guess that's my main point of this whole thing. And these leaders, I hate to tell you this, man, these leaders are ruining the truth movement. You guys are ruining the truth movement by telling people what to think, what to say, what to feel, what's allowed, what's not allowed. You are purposely shutting people up because it doesn't work out with what you believe. And that, my friends, is not a cult.
Right. And sometimes it's really hard to tell between who is well-meaning and who is a government plant, because it's been declassified. And I've said it on the show a million times before. It's been declassified. The agents are placed in here. Be aware of that. If you're in these truth groups, be aware that the person you're talking to, you've never met this person. You're not seeing them. You don't know if they're who they say they are. So you don't know who is who in these groups. And you know what, Mike? Not to be hypocritical and to leave my ego aside, I was once like that. I was once adhered to all the rules, and anyone who believed any different than I did, I had some words for them too. And I had to learn from my mistakes. The point is, I had the awareness and the open-mindedness to see the error in my ways and change. Because it's not helping our movement. It's not helping our cause. It's not helping the truth in any way at all.
I just think that we owe it. We owe it to the millions of people that have been viciously killed since that day. Don't we owe them some kind of real compassion? I'm not going to sit here and claim, oh, I love everybody, give peace a chance, and then walk down the street and punch a guy in the face because I don't like his views on stuff.
Right.
My job is to say to that guy, look, we may not agree, but you know what? You're my brother in flesh, man. And I think that we need to unite together because we both see a problem with what's going on. This is the thing that no truther wants to hear. And we've said it before. No truther wants to hear this, but I'm going to say it, okay? And that is everybody, guess what? Direct energy weapon people, nuclear weapon people, thermite people, A&E, Judy Wood, I don't care what it is. You all have something in common. Guess what it is? The official story is bullshit.
Right.
Okay? So you all have something in common. That is the foundation of what can blossom into something extremely big.
That's simple.
We don't want to look at it that way. We've got too many geniuses that watch a 30-second YouTube clip and all. Okay, I can watch a 5-minute video on how a veterinarian can neuter a dog. And then I'm going to start what? I'm going to start letting people around the neighborhood know, hey, don't spend the money at the vet. Bring them to me. I watched a video. I know what I'm doing. I might not be a genius, but I stayed at a Holiday Inn last night. Come on, man.
That's so true, Mike. And The problem is that a lot of times once they believe a certain theory, they stick to that adamantly, and they won't even take the time to even look at any other evidence. They won't even bother to even give it a chance.
Yeah, here's a good one. Here's my hats off to the truthers. Okay, back in September. Okay, there was a video by a debunker who had a video of he took the collapse of Building 7 and he cartoonishly put explosives into the video, okay, to make it look like Building 7 was going bang, 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 just like a controlled demolition, right? And then he even implants a UFO that hovers above Building 7. And on the side of the video has a message that says, "This is a hoax. Truthers are so gullible." And guess what happened? The truth movement plastered it all over the internet, man, as if this was, oh my gosh, look at this. This is real. This is real. And then the guy makes a video and goes, hey, guess what? I made this video just to prove that you guys really don't research. You just buy anything. They're mocking us because of this kind of crap.
Yeah.
Back in September, I was like, really? If anybody buys this video as being truth, is a complete moron, because that is like the most damning evidence that you will ever see. Like, how could anybody cover that part up? You know what I'm saying? And so I had to give a warning out to people. And guess what? It's starting to show again all over Facebook. People are posting it from the truth movement. They are sharing it. They are posting it. They are going crazy with this thing. And on the other side, they are mocking us. So what does that tell you about watching a quick clip and then just going ahead and posting it real quick? You know, that's where it's getting us, man. It's really not that hard. It's simply this. If you're not educated in the subject, don't open your mouth. Wait until you get the education behind you. I'm not going to sit here and begin to talk about being a doctor or an archaeologist or anything like that, you know, because I find a seashell at the beach. All of a sudden now I'm going to be, you know, a professional in fossils.
It's so true. You know, I could tell you, you mentioned doctors. I could tell you myself that most people go to doctors to get nutritional advice. They go to doctors to find out proper nutrition. And I can tell you this, I know more in my little pinky about nutrition than most doctors. And I have no formal education, just because I know about naturopathic medicine. It is a crime and it's criminal. And doctors, a lot of doctors should be prosecuted. And God,
they got license to kill.
Simmer down. They got a license to kill. They have no business telling you how to practice proper nutrition. They know nothing about. It's like going to your mechanic and asking him the proper diet or how to get in shape. It makes no sense, and yet we let them do it for years. And their solution is pills.
Yeah.
And they try to tell you 4 food groups.
Yeah.
The 4 food groups killed more people than our last 3 world wars combined, because they thought that's all they needed to do. And now the 4 food groups would look great compared to this genetically modified food they have. My son came home from school today, and we were talking about once a week I let him buy his lunch, because we all know we really don't want our kids eating those lunches in those schools. And he said, they told us about GMOs. They said they were good. They said they're even better for us. I said, well, really? Yep. They showed him films about it. And I said, what did you say? He said, well, you know, I just didn't really say anything or I'd get in trouble. Or they'd all call me crazy for telling the truth. Insane. GMOs are better than real food. They're pushing this garbage in schools. Oh my God, Mike. I just about lost it. I'm glad my son's awake enough to know what's going on, but God, is he confused now about a lot of things because of this.
Yeah, man, we were talking on the phone earlier when I was in the store, remember? And I was buying my son something to pack for his lunch. Because I don't want them eating that garbage no more, man. And I work in the school system. I know. I'm gonna start getting mad. You should be mad. I mean, your children are eating toxins. They're eating pesticides. Does nobody care? Well, no, they don't care. You know why they don't care, Eric? It's free. It's free lunch.
Free lunch. Yep. One less thing a parent has to do each day for their child. Just give them some money and send them off to eat whatever Obama's wife says. She's a nutritionist now too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she's a nutritionist, all right. Anyways,
yeah, we get off track.
Yeah, but we're gonna talk more about that. The medical theory, man. Yeah. Well, at the top of the hour, the final hour, we're going to be talking about the medical tyranny, man, because I've got 2 little bottles of things sitting right here next to me that actually just in these 2 little things provide you with the 90 essential nutrients you need that your body needs to be healthy. And it's not food. It's not in a food group. It's in 2 little bottles, and we'll get to that, man. But if you do want to call in, we'd really like to hear from some people tonight. If you could call in, phone number is 866-806-6264, and when you call in, the code is 149-625-0662. Because generally, what happens is we do a show. And then all of a sudden, nobody will call in. And then after the show, we get bombarded with messages like crazy by people who didn't like the show for this reason, or they thought they were wrong. We were wrong because of this. Well, here's your chance, your open platform to come on and let's talk. Let's really talk about this kind of stuff. Maybe people at home, maybe you have some things that can enlighten Eric and I, because I'm telling you, we're not closed-minded, man. If you've got something that we need to know, please let us know. Call up. Let us know. We're not geniuses. I'm not a doctor in anything, so, I'm not a genius. I'm not a leader. I'm just a guy with a radio show. So even a caveman could do it. No, it's just now we're a little spoiled because NBC, they produce our shows and everything, man. We just got to show up and smile and talk. How awesome is that?
It's pretty awesome. So yeah, if you want to call in and tell us why GMOs for you, please don't call in and say that. But if you want to, you have the right to do that. How can they be more? You want to know something? You were talking about the 90 essentials. Okay, minerals. Our body needs minerals, so it's the only way. And we're not going to eat rocks, right? So the best way to get these minerals is to have a plant. And the plant sucks up the minerals, turns it into a colloid, which is on.
Looks like he froze up there, Mike. They step in for him.
Did he? Okay, that's what I thought. I wasn't quite sure, man. I didn't know if it was on my end or not. But no, at the top of the hour, Eric's right. We're going to be talking about, first of all, he said before he froze up about eating rocks. And I guarantee you that I think a rock is probably healthier than the GMOs are, to be honest with you. So his answer to that question is, yeah, I would eat a rock before I would eat any kind of pesticide. I can tell you that. But I don't know. I mean, Mark, what's your guys's healthcare like over there in Canada? I mean, do you have MDs that are pushing for any kind of essential nutrition, or is it the same thing we got, which is we'll give you a pill for this and then this pill for this, and this pill for this, and then we have to give you a pill to take care of all the side effects of the first two pills we gave you.
Right, and the side effects are generally worse than whatever you're taking the pill for. Amazing.
So how is it over there in Canada? I mean, is there MD pushing nutrition?
Well, we call it the medical mafia ourselves. So we're just a colony of the crown anyway. So it's all the same for 90% of it. And I'm kind of lucky myself that I've seen a doctor once in the last 40 years. So wow, I stay the hell away from them. I think it's a big crutch in our society, starting right off from the school, putting doctors above anybody else, including lawyers and cops. So I think it's a big part of social engineering all the way along. And I encourage everybody never to see a doctor.
Doctors are the number one killer. Number one killer in the U.S. beating out cancer even. They're the number one killer. So by the numbers, your doctor is the most dangerous person you can go see, more dangerous than a drunk driver and more dangerous than a psycho with a gun. Now, it's almost it's unfair to group them all in like that, because I know some medical doctors that are hip to naturopaths too. Okay, and they're actually the good guys. They're trying to spread awareness. Some people are very mentally disturbed, and they do need some other type of help. But in general, for just about any disease, 98% of disease is caused by a nutritional deficiency and can be eradicated by using naturopathic supplements. And why most doctors are pretty intelligent. They got to go through a long education to become a doctor. Okay. And I'm pretty sure after a certain amount of years and decades of being a doctor, they become hip to some of this stuff. But there's a lot of money to be made in that industry by not introducing people to naturopathic medications, like $4,000 for each chemotherapy treatment that a person gets. 8 treatments, $32,000 in the doctor's pocket, one person. So there's a lot of incentive to make money too. And this has been a huge debate in the naturopathic world too. Some say that we're unfairly attacking doctors because they're just ignorant to this knowledge. I have a hard time believing it. Either do I. I really have a hard time believing that.
They may not learn about it in school while they're studying to be doctors, but I just don't believe that they haven't heard of other things. Let's face it, man. There's 2 reasons. One, drugs are profit. Drugs are profit. Number 1. Number 2, they truly maybe aren't fully aware of what it is. But at the same time, like you said, I don't want a doctor telling me, or I don't want a mechanic trying to tell me what I need to do to lose weight. I brought my car to him to fix my car.
Right.
So naturally a doctor is going to tell me, I've got some arthritis. Well, the first thing they're going to say is, here's your anti-inflammatory, here's your pain medication, and you're going to take those, and it's not going to cure it. Eventually what it's going to do is it's going to kill you in the end, is what it's going to do. It may not be a fast death, but it certainly will be a death, and it will be caused by the chemicals you're pumping into your body.
Absolutely.
We're all going to die. Nobody's going to live forever. But wouldn't it be nice to know that we're going to live long enough to be healthy and we can die on our own terms?
Absolutely. I mean, we have access to the greatest innovations in healthcare on this planet. How is it possible? We're ranked near last in civilized countries? We rank just above Guam for chronic disease. We also have the highest rate of obesity, highest rate of depression, highest rate of cancer, highest rate of diabetes in the entire freaking world.
Highest rate of suicide
in the world. And yet naturopathic medicine is still considered alternative medicine. Alternative to what? alternative to curing our ailments? I mean, prescription medications, they're the 5th leading cause of death in the U.S. Vioxx alone, you remember Vioxx?
Yeah, there's lawsuits up the ying on that.
60,000 people died. You know what they got? They got a freaking misdemeanor.
Well, of course they did. Because who are they going to sue? The medical board?
Right.
The medical board is going to back the doctors.
Right. Nothing they can do. Nothing they can do. Well, you know, naturopathic doctors, they're becoming they're outlawed in almost every state now. They're illegal to practice in more states than they're allowed to practice in. They're only allowed to practice in 19 states now. I mean, you ever hear of a vitamin or mineral killing someone? Ever? I mean, I haven't.
No.
But imagine if a vitamin or mineral
I've never heard of anybody overdosing on marijuana either. You know, I've never heard of anybody overdosing on a mineral or a vitamin, and I sure haven't heard of anybody that's dropped dead because they smoked too much weed.
Same thing, and you can bet your ass the globalists and the people that are the bad guys that they have their hand in this thing right now with the legalization of marijuana because they finally are finding a way to regulate it. And you know the government's going to stick their hand in there and tax the shit out of it. So
they've had their hands. The government's had their hands in drugs for a very long time. Right. Let's flash back to Vietnam when people were getting killed and the CIA was bringing heroin back to the States.
Oh, sure. CIA flooded the States with crack.
You know,
that's where the crack epidemic came from.
Right. Well, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, let's talk more about the medical tyranny because I think this is something that we really need to talk about. This is important. This information is not going to stop you. It's not going to make you immortal. You are going to die someday, but it will prolong and you'll have a chance to live your life healthy. So we'll see you. We'll come back in a few.
We can now say, with moral certainty and considerable scientific authority, that the death of JFK was committed by a meticulously executed conspiracy which was obscured by an extensive cover-up. Murder in Dealey Plaza, edited by James Fetzer, goes to the heart of the JFK assassination. You'll read new and up-to-date information regarding the Secret Service, the Lincoln limousine, the medical evidence, the cover-up, altering the film, framing the patsy, and the silent historians. Also, 16 smoking guns, each one crushing the government's lone assassin scenario. A world-class chronology of November 22nd, 1963. Chapters by David W. Mantic, Gary Aguilar, Vincent Palomara, Douglas Weldon, Jack White, Ira David Wood III, James H. Fetzer, Doug Horn, and a classic essay by Bertrand Russell. The complete story in the pages of one single book, edited by James H. Fetzer. Read it now, read it again. You'll use it as a reference. Murder in Dealey Plaza. Available at Amazon.com and major bookstores around the world. It's murder.
Less than 3% of you people read books, because less than 15% of you read newspapers. Right now, there is an entire generation that never knew anything that didn't come out of this tube. This tube can make or break presidents, popes, prime ministers. Television is not the truth. Television is a circus, a carnival, a traveling troupe of acrobats, storytellers, dancers, singers, jugglers, sideshow freaks, lion tamers, and football players. We deal in illusions, man. None of it is true. But you people sit there day after day, night after night, all ages, colors, creeds.
Broadcasting live on network radio.
So turn off your television sets, turn them off now, turn them off and leave them off.
This is Jim Fetzer, your host on The Real Deal.
In Dallas, Texas, 3 shots were fired at President Kennedy's motorcade.
It looks like one of those scenes of an old building being purposely dynamited and blown.
When we are successful, I'm just a patsy, and we will be.
Ready to make to come to the microphone, so we'll listen up.
A new world order.
So my name's Robbie Parker.
It might have appeared that way, but from my close-up inspection, there's no evidence of a plane having crashed anywhere near the Pentagon.
Let us never tolerate outrageous conspiracy theories concerning the attacks of September the 11th.
President Kennedy died at 1 p.m.
Live from the Media Broadcasting Center.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Welcome to Wake Up to the Truth Radio with your hosts, Mike Soror and Eric Spitfire Wilkinson. Welcome to the Resistance.
Well, welcome back to the second half of the Wake Up to the Truth 2-hour Tuesday night special. This part of the show, we're going to talk about the medical tyranny, and we're going to let Eric start up on this one, man, because this is a guy that's very educated in the medical tyranny aspect of it, and I've just now started to get into it. So, Eric, I'm going to go ahead and give you the floor, man. Why don't you go ahead and give these people to be something excited about?
I sure will. Well, let's start out with MDs. They're not trained in medical science, okay? MDs only practice one very small piece of the pie in medical science. They practice a reductionistic, allopathic pharmaceutical medicine. They do not believe that the body has the ability to fix itself. They believe, much like a communist believes, that once you're sick, you're screwed. And the only solution is to march in with a synthetic drug that overpowers, overrides, and controls the metabolism of your body. MD-directed medicine, they're great for trauma and surgery and a handful of diseases. For most of the things people go to the doctor most of the time for, though, including depression, psychiatric conditions, it's a fool's errand because you're going to suffer and then you're going to die. That's what you're going to get out of that. You can check an exhaustive 45-page report from the New England Journal of Medicine and the Journal of American Medical Association, which are extremely prestigious medical journals. You can check these. Almost 1 million people die from MD treatments. Heart disease, about 800,000 per year. Cancer, about 600,000 per year. So as I said, by the numbers, your MD is the most dangerous person in America. And this is the billion-pound gorilla in the middle of the country that nobody wants to talk about. I mean, we're having a healthcare crisis of biblical proportions in this country. And it's not because of pharmaceutical profiteering. It's not because of insurance fraud. It's not because of a for-profit medical industry. It's for one reason and one reason only. The treatments delivered by MDs do not work. They not only don't work, they cause harm in the process. You know, we get 3,000 people that die in the Twin Towers and we go to war. 1 million people die from MD care. Nobody even goes to jail. We've gone down the rabbit hole of MD prescribed medicine being king for over 100 years now, and it must stop. I'm not going to bow to the altar of doctors anymore. Harvard even admits that fluoride in dozens of studies causes brain damage and bone cancer. You're killing our kids. The Nazis put it in the water. It's in Pulitzer Prize winning books, yet they don't take it out. And this is not by accident. The doctors are dumbed down and compartmentalized, and they're killing us. All right, now let me calm down now, and let's tell you how this all happened, okay? And the Rockefellers set it up. In the 1800s and early 1900s, we had a relatively even playing field of medicine in the U.S. You had the osteopaths, you had the MDs, chiropractors, herbalists, naturopaths, and homeopaths. In 1910, the Carnegie Institute, followed in turn by the Rockefeller Foundation, funded a guy by the name of Abraham Flexner. He traveled all over the country by train, stagecoach, or horseback Took him 5 years, and he did an inventory of all the hospitals and all the medical schools in the United States that prescribed drugs. And of course they did this because the Rockefellers owned all the drug companies. So his list was infamously referred to as the Flexner Report. The Carnegies gave millions of dollars of free money to medical schools and hospitals that prescribed drugs. Now you're talking about the early 1900s, and $1 million was a hell of a lot of money. So if you're starting a business, and I'm starting a business, and I get $1 million of free money, and you don't, guess who's going to have the more successful business? Of course. This was the beginning of the end for the medicine in the United States. This tipped the scales. The Flexner Report, and in the hospitals that prescribed drugs. Since around 1920, the balance of power shifted. That is the only reason MDs are controlling the medical marketplace, which is the only reason MDs are in power right now. Again, bless their hearts. They're great for trauma and surgery, but they're also the leading cause of death in the U.S. It's the only system of medicine that we have access to. The only system of medicine that TV shows talk about. Only system of medicine that our insurance pays for. The only system of medicine that we are taught about is MD-directed medicine. Most people think MDs are top dog because their therapeutics must be better, right? Must be safer. Must be more scientific. No, they're not. The only reason MDs are in the driver's seat is because of financial and political coalitions built at the turn of the century that everybody's forgotten about. And we're dying because of it. We already talked about what Vox did. So let's segue into the supplements that we're taking now. Youngevity. Okay, the founder of Youngevity is named Joel Wallach. And he was fired in the 70s because he discovered the cause and cure of cystic fibrosis. And it was a selenium deficiency. I mean, these products that they have are simply the best naturopathic medicine on the planet. All chronic disease is caused by a nutritional deficiency. Let me say that again. All chronic disease is caused by a nutritional deficiency. Type 2 diabetes, fibromyalgia, high blood pressure, arthritis, obesity, all caused by a nutritional deficiency. The body needs 90 essential nutrients. It's impossible to get all these nutrients from your food. Animals and plants can't make minerals. The mineral's not in the soil, it's not in the plant. It's not in the plant, it's not in you. It's not in the cow, it's not in the cow's milk. Unless you are supplementing with a high-quality nutritional supplement, it's only a matter of time before your body runs out of the stuff it needs, something breaks. My wife, asthma is going away. My son lost weight. I tore my shoulder. Doctor told me it took about a year to heal. Took about a month. Youngevity supplements are formulated from $25 million of federally funded research, 26,000 autopsies, and 10 million blood chemistries and histopathologies, and over 3 decades of clinical application by licensed naturopathic physicians. Quacks, right? In the last year, this company has increased its sales by 1,200%. Now, why do you think that is? Because it works, right? Back to you, Mike.
Well, here's what I just got started taking the Youngevity products, and Eric started me on the Ultimate EFAs, which are these right here. I don't know if you can see them. Okay. Eric, you want to explain what these EFAs are?
Essential fatty acids, otherwise known as fish oil. Now, some people say, well, I do get fish oil. I go to GNC or CVS or wherever else, and I take my fish oil. You don't know where this fish oil is coming from. It could have come from Fukushima waters for all you know. You don't know how long it's been sitting on the shelf. And the last part is they don't absorb, okay? We were taught, I think it was another one by those great doctors, that we are what we eat. And we're not what we eat. We are what we absorb. Our body needs to be able to absorb these nutrients. So by using the gel cap formula of the EFA, your body absorbs it. It's great brain food too. Yeah, EFA is awesome. You felt the difference from them, huh, Mike?
Yeah, I don't know if you can tell or can see it, but this is the capsule right here. The EFA. I take 3 a day of these.
Move it a little to the right. Yeah, right there.
Okay. It's a liquid gel capsule. Okay. Not hard to go down. This is what I started with today. This is called Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Okay. You mix it with your water. Eric, what's in this? I mean, you can go on. There's a lot in this, but give us the quick rundown on the Tangy Tangerine.
That's all your essential minerals right there, which your body needs. Along with that, that's the new one, the Citrus Peach Fusion. I'm glad to see you got that. That also has probiotics in it, and the score on the ORAC scale that it gets, it's off the charts. It's something like, it should say on there, but I think it's something like 8 or 9,000 on the ORAC scale.
You're right. 8.
That's off the charts. You compare that to anything else. And again, we're not getting any of these minerals, but supposedly our schools are saying GMOs are healthier. And GMOs don't have any minerals because I just told you how you get them. You know, we're dead last in the world in average lifespan. Did you know that? The U.S. is now dead last in the world in average lifespan. We got infant mortality. It's skyrocketing. It's these eugenicists, globalists. They know what they're doing, don't they, Mike? They really do. Autism used to be 1 out of 10,000 kids. Now it's 1 in 80. Obesity's tripled. All while the medical doctors have been in control, by the way. Yeah. And what do? We keep going back to them.
Well, and here's some of the things that people don't realize is that we are not telling you that longevity is a cure system. Longevity doesn't say, hey, we're curing diabetes. We're diagnosing. They don't work on treatment plans for diabetes, for depression, for arthritis, for osteoporosis. What longevity is they are products that the body will naturally heal itself. Okay. But they can't naturally heal itself without the 90 essential nutrients that we need. So, are we saying that longevity is curing cancer? No. If there's any kind of, and there's plenty of testimonials out there, okay? If there's any kind of disease that you have that is cured, it's because you've taken the supplements and your body has naturally cured yourself of these diseases, okay? So I want people to know that. Here are some of the big ones, man, that people have, come out with testimonials. When it comes to the blood sugar imbalances, which is what is basically what I'm going through, okay? These are some of the testimonials of people that are living healthier. Some of these have just completely disappeared from their life. Yep. We're talking ADD, ADHD. Let's talk about those two right there, because you mentioned it as far as the autism goes. Mm-hmm. And ADHD seems to be one of the biggest diseases that doctors are nailing kids with. And what's the answer? Well, now that we've already pumped
take a pill.
The adults, now that we've already pumped the adults full of this garbage, let's start getting them young. Let's start shoving Ritalin down their throats or Adderall down their throats by the time they're 4 or 5 years old. Because let's face it, by 4 or 5, we can already diagnose what kind of future they're going to have. Give me a break. All right, that's one of them. Anxiety is another one. Okay, there's people that are taking this. They're just the two things that I showed you. Okay, that no longer, they may have a bit of nerves here and there, which is natural, but they're not having panic attacks. They're not having anxiety attacks anymore. Bipolar disorder, that's another one. Depression. There's so much, even down to bedwetting. Okay. Night terrors cause bedwetting in a lot of children. Okay. And adults. This stuff is people are saying, look, I'm taking this product. I don't have these problems anymore. Okay. Fatigue is another one that has to do with the blood sugar imbalance. Cardiovascular disease is another one. Diabetes, obesity. Okay. Obesity. All right, is another one. Hypoglycemia. I mean, the list goes on. Learning disabilities. This is all because of sugar deficiencies. All right, and we're not talking where, okay, I feel a little dizzy, so I need to run to the store and shove a Baby Ruth down my throat. That is not real sugar. That is artificial sugar that is made in a factory. Okay, so all right. Here's some of the other stuff. Calcium deficiencies, man. These are huge, right, Eric? You've got stuff like your bone spurs. Okay. What about when your child? You've got a child that is 13 years old and skyrockets over you in height. He grew fast. I have a child, grew very fast. When they grow fast, that's painful. That causes some bone spurs and some growth pains. There are people that are saying that this product has caused them to no longer have insomnia. Okay, their blood pressure is now stable instead of being too high or too low. Vertigo. Okay, vertigo. Which what's an MD? Because I've been tested for vertigo, and you know what they did for me? They wanted to see if strapping me to a table and spinning me all over the damn place, and then standing me up made me dizzy. Well, what the hell do you think it was gonna do? All right, spinning me in circles. There's so much, even down to tooth decay, man. All right, if you're drinking a bunch of pop all day long and just eating those artificial sweeteners and all that garbage, your teeth are going to rot. Not to mention, Eric didn't bring up that you're reducing the risk of breast cancer by what, 80%?
Absolutely.
Eric? All right. You're talking about people that smoke. I'm a smoker. Eric's a smoker. I think Mark and Chance are also smokers. And you know what? 40%.
Yep.
It goes down for you to have lung cancer. It decreases it by 40%. Why? Because your body is meant to naturally heal itself with the right nutrients. We don't have them in our food system anymore. All right. We've got planes that are flying over our skies and dropping. Do you even know what they're dropping in them chemtrails? If you think it's smoke, you're nuts. There's nickel that's flying down, dude. There's
heavy metals.
All kinds of stuff. It's toxins. It's getting into your food. It's getting into your air. This is not
water.
Conspiracy, man.
Yeah.
It's not. Our water system. There's another good one. Okay, I understand fluoride is good, but not that much fluoride. Our natural clean water is now just filled with fluoride, man. Like, I'm afraid to drink the damn water because I might wake up the next morning as a tube of toothpaste.
Right. 74% of the water in the United States is fluoridated. I mean, people listen to the CDC and the World Health Organization like they're the Bible. And these are part of the medical industry that's telling you that this stuff's safe. I mean, you want to know, here's a funny statistic. The CDC named it one of the top 10 public health achievements of the 20th century, if you can believe that.
By putting fluoride in the water?
Yeah, you know. And
give the CDC a Nobel Prize.
Right.
Give them a Nobel Prize.
You know, I did interviews on this stuff,
peace.
Man. I interviewed, and just about every dentist I talked to in my city, they loved it. They thought it was great. It protects teeth from decay. I have quotes from them. And then the opposite end of the spectrum, I went and I interviewed chiropractors. And they hated water fluoridation. We don't need fluoride to function. So why are we putting it in our bodies? You know, to me, it's just an illegal poison. It's dumped in our water. The FDA classifies fluoride as a drug themselves. FDA classifies fluoride as a drug. Did you hear that again? For people who want to say this is a conspiracy, the FDA classifies it as a drug. Why are there drugs in our water? Even the FDA says it. It's a form of medical treatment, man, and it violates the Nuremberg Code for Human Experimentation, as well as violates the individual's right to informed consent to medication. You know, none of the municipalities can control the dose. And
did he freeze up again?
He has
freed up again. All right. Well, listen, there's a website that I want people to go to. It's called fireyourmdnow.com. Okay. And this is Dr. Glidden. You're going to love listening to him. when you sign up for his newsletter, that's free. He's going to send you in your email the bad food versus the good food, okay? And that's what I was looking at last night. Here's some of the bad food that they're very, very much against and telling you that this stuff is bad news for you. Wheat, barley, rye, oats and oatmeal, even if it says gluten-free. Any kind of oils, that includes any kind of cooking oil, salad, even olive oil and coconut oil, which I've always been told olive oil was great for you, but it's not. You can eat red meat, just make sure it's not well done. Make sure it's rare or medium. Any kind of deli meat, the processed meats, anything that's got nitrates added to the meat. Tell your butcher you don't want any nitrates in your meat. The carbonated beverages like soda, you don't want to drink that near or with your meal. And even the skins of baked potatoes or yams, okay, unless you're going to boil them, they're not good for you. Now, that list, Eric, I'm just going through the bad food, good food list from Dr. Glidden, okay? And 90% of the bad food that's listed on here, we were told growing up how good this stuff was for us, okay? Here's some of the good foods, okay? And even some of the stuff that they describe on here I thought was actually good for you, but apparently it's not. For example, peanuts. They're terrible for you. Peanuts are terrible for you. Mixed nuts are good, but peanuts are terrible. Eggs. You can do them, soft scrambled, soft boiled, or poached. Stop frying your eggs. Right? Stop frying your eggs. Okay. Use real butter or lard. All right. Quit messing with your margarine crap. All right. Leave it alone. Salt is good for you. Let me repeat that. Salt is good for you.
Yep.
Okay.
Iodine, gotta have it.
Fish, chicken, pork, lamb, all good for you. Like I said, you're gonna eat beef. I'm a steak guy. All right. I love steak. Gotta have it medium or you gotta have it rare. Veggies and fruit are good for you. Nut butters are good for you, but not peanuts. Okay. Any like peanut butter, not good, man. There's a tons of them. Go to that website, you'll find it. Okay. It's fireyourmdnow.com. All right. I think he froze up again. I'm not sure, but if you want, we can go to our caller.
Yeah, I do believe we have a caller in here, Mike. So I'll just unmute him and see if he's still there. Hey, caller.
Okay, caller, you there?
Be on if you can introduce yourself.
Hey, guys. Hey, it's George. It's the producer. You know, that guy.
Oh, God. Wait a minute, man. I thought we were supposed to screen these calls. No tinfoil hat wearing guys.
Nope. You guys got a real life conspiracy theorist on the phone.
What's happening, my brother?
I just wanted to say I've been, ducking in and out, checking out the show tonight. Mike and Eric are doing a great job, and I wanted to do a big shout out to one of our new producers at NBC. Mark's finally got the ball rolling, so making sure you got your call line all up to date. Maybe this will encourage others to make their call in and either make a good comment or start trolling.
Sounds good, and that's only because I've got a decent mentor to be able to follow. So kudos to you and all the work that you've done this week and helping out with the tests all weekend long and taking some family time and thanks to Ray and the family for putting up with us.
Well, you guys are doing great. I love the new intro. I got a chance to watch that and it looks pretty good. So I'll let you guys get back to it, but keep up into the good work. Tell Eric to get back on the directed energy weapons rant. I loved it. All right. Have a good show, guys.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Is that space meme guy?
Yeah, it's that ET man. No, Chance is an amazing guy, man. I'm telling you what. Very, very happy to have him and Mark, man. I'm telling you, NBC spoils us. They really do.
They do.
They do. They do promotion for us, man. They're making us awesome intros. Man, anytime I'm waiting to see a bill show up door. At which point I'm going to forward it to Eric Wilkinson, and here's his address. No, I don't know, man. He keeps freezing up, it looks like. He's having some problems there. It seemed like in the beginning of the show I was, but now it looks like...
this is his connection at home, and we use the great new meetup system here. So we don't have a problem from the studio end at all anymore now that we don't use Skype, and we don't get booted out. So now it's strictly at the at-home level, just the internet connection that happens there, or the bandwidth that you happens to be on. So, of course, it's winter, too, so everybody has a little bit of area where things come down. I know we had a show in November where we finally had every glitch taken out, and we're going, okay, Friday night, great show to come on. We got everything solved, and the whole neighborhood lost power. No computers.
Wow. Isn't that great, though, the world of technology?
Absolutely. So now we even have that backup because I'm, of course, in a different location than Chance is. So we keep an eye on each other's shows and so forth. So now even if that happens, one of us can jump on and pick up the ball.
Nice. Well, I will say that, you guys have been awesome to us. You really have. And I'm glad we switched from Blog Talk and came over here because I'm having a blast. Eric, man, one of these times we almost wanted to call Gitmo, dude. We thought maybe you got black bagged. Michelle Obama was like, he's talking about school lunches. Go get it. Oh man. So there he goes.
I'm gonna drop my camera a bit. I think it usually helps.
Oh, okay. All right. So go ahead, man. Let's keep moving on the medical tyranny, man. You mentioned that we're just one step above Guam
in medical effectiveness.
I don't even know if I don't even know if I don't even know if most people know where Guam is.
Right, South America.
What is that? I'm just saying, what does that tell you?
Tells us a whole lot, Mike. Did we talk about why there's an explosion of neurological disorders out there? Did we talk about that yet?
No, not yet.
4 reasons. Wheat, barley, rye, and oats. They are the cause of the explosion on neurological disorders. That's right. Oatmeal. The gluten protein in these grains are almost impossible for your digestive system to digest. When you get undigested gluten rumbling around in your digestive tract, it destroys the tissue that absorbs nutrients. Gluten accelerates nutritional deficiency diseases and makes you sick. So that's the problem with gluten.
And what about the peanuts? Because, man, I'll tell you right now, when I read that, I was a little upset because, man, I love peanuts, man.
Peanuts are good for protein. That's why people thought they were good. They were good quick energy for protein. I believe, okay, I'm not an expert on the peanut part, but I believe it's the oils in the peanuts is the problem. But I want to research that more before I give my opinion on it. I don't want to be like a doctor and just tell you what I think you want to hear.
I actually trust you more than I do a doctor.
I if I could only get my clients to think that way, they'd be a lot healthier.
Yeah. Well, if we lived closer, man, I'd be in there hitting the bag listening. I'm not much of a fighter, but I do got a big fight coming up with Rush Limbaugh as soon as he accepts the invitation. It's what we're shooting for, So, but no, I don't, I just got into the longevity business, and I just started the Tangy Tangerine, and already it was really crazy. Within the first hour and a half of drinking it, it felt like I could breathe a lot better all of a sudden. I had a little bit of energy going on. This stuff we need it. We need it. It's up to us too, as good parents, man, to take care of our children too. My son plays basketball. My other two play baseball. Two of them have asthma. Another one is 16 years old, and it's not a rare thing anymore for these young athletes to get hurt on the basketball court. You see little things like going up for a rebound and coming down flat-footed. Next thing you know, they're snapping their knees. There's 16-year-old kids that are dropping dead of heart attacks. It's all because of, nutrition deficiencies. Eric, the one 16-year-old took place right in Michigan. Is he there?
Look,
I don't know. What do you think? Think he got kidnapped?
That's a pretty good possibility. Is with his webcam off, you can't tell whether he's frozen or not. But he might be just away, But you're absolutely right with the other side of parts. I like the what he was saying about the wheat. My wife Karen, she's a big advocate of absolutely no gluten. And of course, she's one of these women that likes to keep the 26, 28-inch waist. So she seems to do very well at that. I'm bad at it, but I know I do recall once I started catching a lot of hell from her. I did look up what wheat was and back to the original parts of it through some of the organic farming, and it was like wheat originally had, I believe, something around 26 chromosomes in it, and now it's well over 160. So this is all being absolutely modified through the generations of farming, and then of course you add the GMO into it. I'm sure you don't even know what wheat is anymore, but it definitely is not the wheat of history. It's no longer when you hear about the grain fields and everything else of Egyptian times and all through our history. Wheat is not what it was 100 years ago, let alone 50 years or 20 years ago. So now that absolutely has to follow into all the products that we manufacture out of wheat.
Right. Well, same thing goes for tobacco. When people weren't getting sick and falling over when they were smoking tobacco in the early or late 1800s even, and then all of a sudden all these big cigarette companies started throwing all these chemicals in there with it. Now all of a sudden we're seeing lung cancer and everything else. Well, it's natural, all natural tobacco. I would love to try it because it would just. But everything, you're right. Everything that was produced is now. It seems like it's quantity over quality anymore. Is one of the things. Some of the stuff is just jam packed full of just poisonous stuff, and you can find most of the stuff in our cigarettes these days right under your kitchen sink.
Absolutely, and if you are going to smoke, at least go to.
You won't take me alive.
Yep.
I want to get this on tape.
God bless America.
I was going to say, it has to be American.
That's my tyranny fighter. Isn't she pretty?
Oh, definitely. And I think, again, all we do is have to use a little bit of critical thinking here and look at who's making the money. And if we look at our whole food supply and everything else, follow the dollars and you're going to know what is the best interest of them. Shelf life going from 4 days to, what's a loaf of bread now, 2 weeks before you see a piece of mold on it. Like what the heck's with that?
And it's one of the GMO things. Their food lasts longer.
My grandmother used to bake bread and let it sit out on the counter without being covered or in a plastic bag, and that stuff would last for 3 weeks to a month.
And I think too that this is also a big cop out. Look in the mirror, guys, because you're the one who are going to buy it. You're the ones that are now concerned about, I need another 2 minutes to go and do this. I need to run my kids here. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to run out and make more money so I can buy more of this crap. I need more crap. I need a bigger house. I need a bigger car. Instead of, you know what, I need 20 hours a week in order to till my own garden, do some of my own things, cook my own meals instead of prepackaged meals. Mm-hmm. At least start somewhere. And me and Karen did that about 18 months ago. We actually went through our house and threw out every prepackaged meal, container, anything to do with food, and we've never bought another one.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because another thing about fast food is too, I mean, even just going out to eat is people say it's we're not lazy. It is. A part of it is lazy. I mean, how easy is it to just whip into a drive-thru real quick and not have to go home and cook and do dishes? Yeah, and then they want to complain that they're not feeling well after eating McDonald's for 4 days straight. You know, I mean, it's just I personally have no problem. Man, home cooked meals to me are 10 times better tasting than any restaurant or fast food garbage. Anyway.
Right. We have hundreds of thousands of kids dropping sometimes fatally from nutritional deprivation. I mean, the pocket change that these people play with is, well, it's the pharmaceutical companies, as you said, it's the money. You know, just a little extra pocket change could keep your kid healthy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, one little thing to
yeah, man, it's crazy. And then, you know,
one little thing that we did just to maybe help people out is a little tidbit, because it is a lifestyle change and it's a little bit sometimes hard to see or overcome. And, you know, we have an advantage. It's only me and Karen. So, but one thing that we did to get over that little convenience factor you were talking about, Mike, was we cook enough in each meal to do another meal. So say we'll cook Sunday night, leftovers are for Tuesday night. We cook Monday night,
there you go.
Leftovers are for Wednesday. So we cook twice and have 4 meals. So now we want 2 nights of convenience where we're not cooking, we're not prepping, we're not doing this. Well, we already have it. We have our prepaid home-cooked meal waiting for us to warm up, not in the microwave either.
Right. That's smart. That's a good way to, not only does it budget well, but it's definitely more healthy.
By the way, I did keep stats on that, and our overall food bill went down by close to 40% for the year.
Wow. That's a good tip, right? Did I cut out before I got to talk about the steak, how to cook the steak? Did that get on?
No, yeah, you did. You did. Go ahead, because we didn't hear your rant on the steak.
Well, women who order their steak medium rare instead of well done, they reduce their chance of breast cancer by 400%. Why is this not in newspapers or doctor's office and literature? Why don't we have literature filled with this information? 400% just by medium rare.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's why we're here. We need to get this information out to everyone so they can understand that this is a life and death thing going on here.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for my feed to cut out again, but maybe I got it mastered now. It's not you. It's over here. Something's going on.
We already figured that out. So, I mean, then, you've got these people that are looking at, some people I've talked to with the longevity products are like, well, I don't know, man, that's kind of pricey. No, you can still get all the nutrients you want for like under $20.
Yep.
There is, I don't think that they realize there are thousands of products. Thousands. And they're all good. They're all good. They all do the job. So
how much does a doctor's office visit usually? $70-$80 now?
Yeah.
And
after
$70-$80.
What's the copay? What's your spend down? What do you pay for prescriptions? Because I don't know anybody that has full prescription coverage anymore.
Right. And Dr. Glidden, he has free webinars. You have an issue and you're part of longevity, you just go bang, you type in whatever your illness is, whatever problem is plaguing you, and you get a free 45-minute webinar on it. It'll tell you exactly how much to take, what you need, and what to take. I don't see any doctors giving away free advice like that.
Yeah.
So you've jumped on the Glidden train. I like him a lot too. We need to get him on the Glidden. We want you on the show. Peter Glidden calling.
Yeah.
Peter Glidden, this show.
Yeah, we would love to. I would love to have Peter Glidden on.
Oh no, I'm cutting out again, aren't I?
No, I can hear you. There you go. Smile.
Yeah.
So tonight we covered a lot of stuff, man. We covered the government tyranny. We covered the medical tyranny. Now it's always the part of the show that we always kind of turn our wheels, because now we got to figure out what can we do to, if not end it, put a start to trying to at least improve on it. I thought that looking in the mirror at ourselves, like Mark mentioned earlier about going out to buy the products we buy, we can do the same thing. Everything starts with us anyway.
I'll chime in there with one point that you guys made earlier on was talking about the truther groups. Mm-hmm. I would like to maybe suggest people also consider themselves as mentors instead of truthers, and start talking to other people from that position of, you know what, I'm here to mentor other people, not to just spread knowledge.
Right.
I think this is one habit that I definitely recognize with elders and other cultures, that they don't look at it as in, I'm here to teach you, I'm here to tell you what's what. I'm here to mentor you and to lead by an example. And I would challenge people to maybe see and conduct themselves from that point of view a little bit more.
Great point, Mark. Real great point.
What about you, Eric?
Well, this is a scary place to get into. I mean, once you become awake, it's very, very terrifying to see things differently. And people that are just learning about this, they're being scared away in droves. And we need numbers. So I agree with Mark. Be a mentor. Be nice. And try to promote unity. God, promote unity. That's not just trying to plug our Unity for Truth group, but promote unity. Let's all get together. We all believe that these evil bastards are not telling us the truth. We all believe that 911 is a sham. So if we all believe in this, that's the common core that connects us, is that we don't believe in this. How it was done is secondary to that. We can talk about that later, but let's band together. Let's get strong as a group. I don't know any great leaders. This goes out to your truth movement leaders. Ask yourself this: what great leader ever said, let's have division? None. But that's exactly what you're promoting in these groups, is division. I mean, follow Gandhi, MLK, Jesus. Unity, not division.
Yeah.
No more egos.
And
trust
we're running
me,
out of time.
Mike and I are coming at you from an aspect of we've been deep inside truth movements. We are both administrators in truth movements. We see what goes on, and we need more fighting the bad guys and less fighting ghosts and computers and bots. No more arguing with a lot of times, as you said before, Mike, a lot of times you're going to sit there and argue for hours. You're not even talking to a human. You're talking to a computer.
They have automatic responses.
Yeah. Remember Deasley? Remember the girl that was from Sandy Hook and saw those kids get on the bus every day?
Yeah, the one that went to the high school that never existed there. Yeah.
Well, there was all kinds of truthers talking to her because they put her in a little bikini and all these guys were talking to her. And I'm trying to tell these guys that, this isn't even a real person. And she's gone now, though. I got on there. I looked up all the information, how the school doesn't even exist. She said she went to, and now she's gone. So, you know what? You can call it a waste of time sometimes, but to get rid of, I feel like victorious because I got rid of one. There's one less troll out there. Sure, she'll come back, but I want to stop them in their tracks. So let's save our energy, truth groups. Can we save our energy for fighting against the real bad guys? Can we do that instead of fighting against each other? You got people like Rebecca Roth who wrote a dynamite book, and she comes out and comes out with some great information, and she just got hammered by a lot of the truth groups.
Oh man, it wasn't just hammered, man. It was being bashed online. I mean, she had her freaking computer being tried to tap into to find out where she lives, her IP address looked at. And just I get I get really angry about that situation when we talk about Rebecca, because we know her well enough.
Mm-hmm.
We've been in contact with her now a month before the book was even published.
Yeah.
We got to know her very well. She's an extraordinarily great person. She is to the point where she is starting to get a little snippy back. And
she's a ballsy bitch though, and I like that about her.
She needs to stand her ground. She came out very polite. She offered the world a lot of information, and why is she charging for it then? If you can't spend a measly $9 to even go towards somebody that spent thousands of hours, give me a break, man. Then I don't think any book should be. Anything that's nonfiction from now on then should be free. Try telling any of those authors that. Try telling David Ray Griffin that. It takes money to put these books out, guys.
No, I've got a better idea. The one who says, I want all my knowledge for free. Well, I need my house cleaned, and I need my car washed. I need a garage built, and I think I should get it for free. So why don't you just come on over here and do that, and I'll give you a book.
There you go. Perfect. That sounds like a good idea. Everybody, but that's the way it is nowadays, though, man. Doesn't it seem like society always feels like they got to get like somebody owes them something always?
Always.
I got 6 kids from 5 different dads. I deserve food stamps. I don't have to work. Why should I have to work? I gave birth to 6 kids.
Entitlement age.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Oh God.
And then you don't want to be. See, I'm one of those parents too, man. My kids get upset with me sometimes. It's like, oh, I want the new, iPhone or whatever. It's a $600 phone. Really? Get a job. Parents. Here's some little advice on parenting. You're not a bad parent if you tell your kids no. You're not a bad parent if you make your kids do the dishes or the laundry or vacuum or clean or hell, even cook. You're not bad for that. And if they get mad at you because they don't get this, $1,200 item or something, oh, well, it's not going to kill them. They're not going to die from it. Just telling you, your job is to parent, not to be their friend. Your job is to be their parent. I had to get that off my chest, man. I'm tired of going into stores and seeing kids just acting like little dipshits because mom won't spend $50 on something. So they start kicking candy aisles and throwing stuff around, throwing themselves on the ground, pounding the ground. You know what would have happened to me if I'd have done that? I'd have been picking my teeth up off that fourth floor, man. My mom was the first person to ever punch me in the face. Did I ever tell you that?
No.
Because I called her a bitch under my breath from two rooms away, and I didn't think she heard me. She heard me, and she was the first person to ever punch me in my face. To this day, I don't swear or say anything negative to my mom because I'm afraid she's going to punch me in the face.
Well, nowadays, you're not even allowed to spank your kids because parents are. I saw articles all over the place. The parents are calling the police before they spank their kids so they can prove that they're not beating them. It's completely ridiculous and out of control. Right. They're being taught to be pussies. They're being taught not to be men anymore. That the masculinity is it's going out the door. It's pathetic, and that's all part of the evil globalist agenda to
keep us weak,
demasculate the men, right?
Well, check it out, man. I tell my kid. My kid told me one time, if you go, if you do that, I'll just call the police. And my response is, you better make sure they send an ambulance too, because if I'm going to jail for child abuse, it's going to be worth it. Yep. I've never been one to ever, but I think I've maybe spanked my kids. I could count on one hand how many times, and it was over things like out of being scared. Like when my oldest son tried to stick a clothes or a bobby pin in a light socket.
Sure.
So I cracked his ass. It's a lot worse had he gotten electrocuted. I'm sure he would have chosen the crack on the ass. Right, or my one not looking both ways and running out into the road, and a car comes to a screeching halt because my kid ran out in the street. Yeah, I whooped his ass for that.
Right, and you did him a favor by helping him stay safe that way. My situation was unique, Mike, because as I said, I was one of the few males to get full custody of their child. So I had my son on my own. And I was terrified because I was under a microscope. I was under a microscope constantly because I felt like I was the only single dad on the planet sometimes. You just didn't see it wherever you went. So I put my son in boxing instead so he could get his discipline that way so he was never spanked by me. But right. I'll spank you now, son. He's 13. He'll be like, I'll spank you back, Dad.
Yeah, he's like, what, 6'4"?
He just laughed now. But that's
the thing, man, is the only thing I got my butt whooped when I needed it, and I suffer too because of it. I suffer from respect. I suffer from manners. I suffer from treating people like human beings. I suffer from integrity and motivation, and I guess so. If I'm a victim and the government feels I was a victim of child abuse, I want to thank my parents on the air right now, live, for whooping my ass and making me the man I am today.
Yeah, ditto. That goes for both of us. Absolutely.
But other than that, man, I think that's a wrap for tonight. What do you think?
Yeah, just one last thing I'd like to say is, the population of America, we once enjoyed the greatest health on earth. And we're now being devolved into a second world nation in terms of health because of this corruption within the government and the medical industry. So corrupt, so evil, so ignorant, so arrogant. And instead of stopping diseases spreading, doctors now are encouraging people not to speak out about it, and they're bringing infected children from over the borders, our open borders, and putting them right into our public schools. It's got to stop. It's got to, it's got to stop for our children. So if I can get one message out there, this is not to sell a product. This is to spread health and to spread wealth and to give our kids a chance, because without the proper nutrition, our kids don't have a chance. Our kids don't have a chance. That's it.
Sounds good. Well, yeah. Thursday night, we're going to be back on Thursday night from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern time. And we'll be talking about some more. I want to pass it with Eric though, man, because I got some doozies that I want to pass on to Eric, which talk about on Thursday. But he's ready. Here it is again. What's their name?
Her name's Betsy. This is my rifle. This is my gun. There are many like it, but this one is mine.
Anyway, I want to thank Mark for producing the show. You did an excellent job, man. We really appreciate it. Appreciate NBC. We appreciate you, the listeners. Mike Soror with Eric Spitfire Wilkinson. Wake up to the truth. We will see you Thursday.
Peace out, guys.
Peace.